Filming real estate as a freelancer is interesting because there's a lot of things that I've learned, things that have helped me gain better clientele, especially some mistakes that I've made, things that I kind of want to share with you guys so that you don't make the same mistake, and just some stuff that'll kind of help you broaden what you're trying to do, especially if you're going into real estate. Jumping right in, one of the mistakes that I remember the most is how I take pictures of real estate. I used to do HDR photos, which if you don't know is bracketing your photos and then blending them into one. So for real estate, that looks like taking one overexposed photo, one normally exposed, and then one underexposed, and then blending them together in Lightroom. Now you'll get okay results with that, but the reason I stopped doing that is because I was working with an agent. This was our first time working together, and she normally worked with photographers that knew how to take flash photos for real estate. Now, she didn't know how to explain that when she hired me, so I assumed she wanted HDR, which is something I was familiar with. Fast forward a little bit after I do the job, I send her everything that I did, and she hated those photos. Now, when she was trying to explain what she was looking for, I was telling her I took 3 different exposures, I blended them together, and this was the final result. And she just kept saying it didn't look right, it didn't look right. So I had to kind of take that L, run to YouTube, and just try to find out what the heck she was talking about. Come to find out, she was looking for somebody who knew how to do flambient photos, which is using a flash with ambient lighting, and somebody who knew how to do window pulls, which is basically when the room is properly exposed, but you can still see clearly outside. And for HDR, you can't do that, or at least I didn't know how to do that at the time. There is a way, but it's still better to use flash, in my opinion. So if you are somebody who's thinking about getting into real estate photography, especially, make sure you start to be well versed in how to use a flash, because not all houses are well lit. Sometimes you are in a darker home, and HDR is just not going to cut it. No matter how many photos you take, sometimes you just need a flash. I'm also going to show you an example in this video right now so that you can see the difference. I was actually at a listing today in Los Angeles, and I was just touching base on a few things so that you guys can understand what it's like on my day-to-day. So let me switch over to that real quick. Generally, I like to do flash photography. I don't really like doing HDR, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you an example of both, the same room. I've been seeing more people ask me, like, how do you get certain clients? How do you get? For something like this, I would point you in the direction of a couple ways. One, reach out to a photographer who does real estate. Because sometimes when they're really busy, they're looking for assistance. They're looking for people to add on to the team so that they can build. That's one of the fastest ways, in my opinion, because they're already booked, they're already busy, they already have the clientele. You're just hooking on to them so that, one, you can learn the business side of it, seeing if it's something you actually like. And then if it is, you know what to do so that you can go out and start advertising and marketing for your own clients. The second way is reaching out to a new realtor, not somebody who's experienced already, but if you reach out to somebody who's new, one, they don't have like a huge budget, but they do have something. So you can reach out to them for headshots, marketing material, because they're looking to build their brand themselves so that they can get clientele as well. So those 2 ways I definitely recommend if you're trying to get into this business. Those are like the fastest ways. That's what I would do. And the last thing I'm gonna touch base on is just how to get clients, right? A lot of people have been asking me, like, how do you actually get a client? And a lot of it comes from my marketing, my networking, and how I leverage social media. And when I see a lot of people who are asking me these questions, like, how do you get a client? When I look at their social media pages, it makes sense why you don't get a client. Not to be mean or anything, but you don't look like you're open for business. You don't look like somebody I would hire, because when I look through your page, I don't know what you do. And when somebody looks through your social media, they should kind of get a sense of what you do if you're looking for clientele. And if you are looking for clientele, what type of client you're looking for. And I show that in my social media. And I have 2 pages for that. I have my content creation social media pages that I'm just trying to communicate with my community, people that are like me, other videographers, freelancers, business owners. And then I have my business side where I'm actually reaching out and speaking the language of a realtor. So a lot of people don't know what marketing is. Marketing is not promoting. Promoting is like if you stood out in the corner and you just yelled really loud at everyone what you're there to do. You're yelling for clientele. Marketing for me is like me learning a different language, going to a different country, and speaking the language of the natives there. So for me, I speak the language of realtors. I understand their pain points. I understand their goals. I understand their hardships or their obstacles. So when I can speak to that pain point, I can understand how to maneuver through it, how to serve them, because I make my business about them, not myself. And you'll make a lot of money that way. Trust me. I've learned throughout the hardships of my 4 years doing this, that marketing is the way, utilizing your social media and networking. Don't be a wallflower. Like when you're at an event or you're speaking to people or you see somebody in the industry that you want to serve, speak up, because they might be looking for you and just don't know that you do the service that they're looking for. But we're going to wrap this up. I hope you guys learned something. Again, hit me up in those comments if you have questions, and I'll see you in the next video.